How's it going, guys? I am StarJake here once again with a brand new video. And here today I'm going to be doing a unboxing of a custom one-off Richard Gein CD. Now, as we all know, Richard Gein's one of my favorite rappers. I've been a fan of him for quite some time now. I've especially been listening to him a whole lot more lately as a result of me finding those two lost albums, which in particular are I Swear to Drunk I'm Not God and Lucy in the Sky with Diarrhea, both fantastic albums. As we all know, Richard Gein's OG CD pressings are damn near impossible to come across. My entire time as a fan, I have never seen a Richard Gein album for sale on eBay, Mercari, or, any selling website. The only copies I've ever seen for sale that were official were the CD jackets that recently came out on some fan-made Richard Gein website. I believe it was owned by the guy who was behind Ruler Y, but I'm not completely sure about it. But whatever the case though, those CDs had missing tracks on them. They had generic track list art and so on and so on. And the website was also not carrying some of the other albums. For instance, the two lost albums I just mentioned, the website was not carrying those. It wasn't carrying any of the Stealth Entity albums, and it was essentially just not that great of an idea to buy from it because it felt very generic. OG pressings are mainly what I go for, and I'm hoping to get them at some point in time. But until then, I had the idea to do custom one-off pressings. Now, what is a custom one-off? I'm going to describe this because I do not want people to get a mixed signal off of this video. A custom one-off is basically when you make one copy only for yourself, basically. Like, yes, it's not official, but at the same time, I'm also not distributing it. I'm not making multiple copies of it. It's one copy just for myself. So, I do not encourage bootlegging. I do not encourage people to make fake copies and sell them. I do not encourage any of that. This copy is just for myself. I'm not making more of these. I'm not distributing it. You get the idea. This copy is literally just for myself. So that is a custom one-off. This copy is literally only mine. There is an official CD press of this album, but the CD press is really hard to find. But again, I want to get a hold of it one of these days. All that out of the way, I'm going to begin opening the package, and yeah. As you've read from the title, the album I'm unboxing is Lucy in the Sky with Diarrhea. I'll get into why I chose to make this album first in particular, and so on and so on. I'll get on with that in a second. Anyway, I'm going to begin opening it. I really hope they got this right, because I used a different template for the tracklist design. That's what I'm mostly concerned about, because I know some websites don't get this right very often, but yeah. Okay, it looks like they did. This is my custom one-off copy of Lucy in the Sky with Diarrhea by Richard Gein. Yeah, this is awesome. By the way, I'm like, the person who makes these for me, the person who makes these one-offs, I genuinely do not think that he wanted to make this. Like, when I sent these files onto the guy's Gmail account, not only did it take a couple of days for him to respond to it, because he literally had to open a folder called Lucy in the Sky with Diarrhea. I mean, it could have been anything in that folder, but that was the title of the folder, and obviously the guy probably had some hesitation when he was opening it. But the guy was messaging me on the website instead of on Gmail. He was asking if I wanted to pay double for shipping for an unknown reason, and I'm like, Yeah, there's no way this guy wants to make this album. He probably read the tracklist titles. He probably thinks the artwork is disgusting. He probably thinks, well, if he listened to the tracks, he's probably not going to be very happy with it. But this guy seemed very hesitant to make this copy. So that kind of makes it a lot more interesting to actually have this now. This was once a lost album, and it's now in my CD collection, and it's now, you know, on my downloads because I managed to get a hold of the full album. That is the cover. It's the original album cover. That's the side of the case, if you can see that. I tried to do a mock-up of the original CD release. Like, it was hard to find the exact fonts, but the font that's used on the side of the case is very similar to the one that was used on the actual copy. So, yeah, it's the side of the case. And the back of the case is also a mock-up to the original tracklist design. Like, it shows a sky image, it says the brown words, and so on and so on. It basically is supposed to look exactly like the original, but, you know, not 100%. I also wanted this to be obviously separate from the official copy whenever I do get it, by putting down there, originally released in 2014 by Ruler Y Recordings, although there was kind of a mistake when I submitted this. It says Ruler Y Productions instead of Ruler Y Recordings, so I guess that's another hint that this is not official. But I got it mixed up with Lyrical Snuff Productions, and I ended up writing Productions instead of Recordings. But, yeah, that's the front, the back, and the side of the case. Now I'm going to show the inside. The inside isn't really too detailed, but I mean, I tried to do something different anyways. So on the original CD release, on the inside left, it says Ruler Y Recordings. I put something different because I did not want to use the Ruler Y Recordings logo since this was not an official copy. It wouldn't feel right if I just slapped their logo onto this album because, you know, it just doesn't seem right. But anyway, yeah, I took off the Ruler Y. It doesn't have the Ruler Y Recordings logo on the inside left of this copy. Instead, I put something else. Man, it looks even better this way without the plastic on it. Anyways, this is the side of the case and the disc. I just put the track listing again. Fun fact, there was actually a typo on this track listing and I almost submitted it. On the song Nasal Droplets, I accidentally put nasal droplets instead of droplets. So I had to kind of go back and retype it. But instead of it saying Ruler Y Recordings on the side and on the disc, I just put the track list and the album cover. The disc is also very blurry, as you can see there. But, yeah, that is my custom one-off of Lucy in the Sky with Diarrhea by Richard Gein. It's an amazing album. It's one of my personal favorites. Now, the reason why I chose this album in particular to be the first one is because it's the one I have mainly been listening to lately. I have enjoyed, like, every track on this album. There's, like, maybe 2 tracks I don't really care for, but overall, this is a fucking amazing album, and I've been listening to it so much that I'm sure everyone's probably annoyed with it by now, but I love this album. I wanted this to be my first copy because not only was it once a lost album, and it's also one of my favorite Richard Gein albums. So now I'm going to flip the camera and I'm going to make sure that it will play on my console because, again, I didn't get many replies on Gmail when I sent this. So I talked to the guy on the website, and it appeared that only a few of the tracks were on the submission. I want to put this in my console to make sure that this has all 15 tracks on it. So here we go. Okay, so here we are again. And there's my PS3 down there. So I'm going to set the disc over here and get ready to test this out. Okay. Okay, let's see if this works. Yeah, it says 15 tracks are on it. Make sure they're in order.
I hate my boss. She's a big jerk face. I wanna kill everybody in this workplace. I hate my boss. She's a big jerk face.
So far, so good. Yep.
Watch the cunt. Watch the cunt, and then you die.
So far, so good. Stepping Stone is one of the best tracks off this, by the way. Yep. Yep, this is the right one too. Smurfette. Yep. This is also one of my favorite tracks. Come on, fucking focus. I know this is like one of the few tracks I don't like that much. River Dancer just feels like kind of a leftover. I guess this track's also on here. So yeah, this is the whole album. Yep. Custom one-off of Lucy in the Sky with Diarrhea by Richard Gein. This is one of my favorite Richard Gein albums, and I'm hoping to get an OG pressing someday, but until then, I got this custom one-off just for myself. It's a pretty good mock-up to the original, but yeah, fantastic album. I'm really glad to have it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all later. Have a great night. I hope you all enjoyed the video.